Hello, good morning, everybody. Firstly, thank you very much for attending this presentation. And as Julia said, my name is Stuart Cardle. I am the branch manager for the UK, and today I'm going to talk to you about big solutions for small machines. Okay, so with Fuji, we've got many different application fields that we allow our products to go into, but we also have a range of inverters that are dedicated to markets, etc., like the lift, HVAC, and also the aqua industry. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you through a journey of different application fields that we have out there. Okay, so the United Kingdom, the first one is a petrol station jet washing machine. The inverters used on this are the FRENIC Mini 2.2 kilowatt. We also use the Technoshot HMI on this. The reason that they selected the Technoshot HMI is because it's extremely bright. And as you can see, this particular machine is situated outside. We're working with a PLC manufacturer that couldn't actually supply the inverter drives, nor did it have a 7-inch widescreen display. So whilst working with this company, the inverter itself is running a high pressure pump at different levels for different cycles, and then the HMI obviously displays the wash cycles and also the time. It's got a countdown timer to obviously show the end user or the user of the machine what cycle it's in. Um, the end customer being the petrol station customer, I mean, basically, the information that they could get from the HMI, such as filling up the tanks, or with solution, or doing some general maintenance on the machine. For the actual manufacturer of the machine, the ability to be able to access the engineering screens to diagnose and obviously effectively and efficiently mend the machine and put it back into service. Okay, so we're moving to Belgium in the hygiene market, and this is an industrial washing machine. Um, this particular customer has been using Fuji for over 10 years now, and they're using the FRENIC Mega. This particular application required control of a special motor with a power between 7.5 and 45 kilowatts. The frequency needed to run between 1.2 hertz and 150 hertz, but the optimal speed was around 30 hertz. As you can imagine, you would need high torque because you've got water and you've got product clothing material inside the washing machine, so it's necessary to have high torque at low speed. And with the spin cycle, being able to bring it down from a high speed down to zero, you'd need braking capabilities. So with the FRENIC Mega, you've got outstanding braking capabilities with integrated braking unit built in. Um, we the Mega actually has braking built into it up to 45 kilowatts. Um, as I mentioned, yeah, you need high control of the torque. We achieved this without the encoder and vector control. Um, and because the application is running in a laundry as well, the carrier frequency was important, so we needed to increase the carrier frequency to reduce the motor noise. And I have to say that technical help from Fuji to get this machine up and running and to do all the parameters, we did. So Spain, still in the hygiene industry. This one's a duct cleaning machine. Basically, if you can see, there's a brush on the end. It's like a hose with a wire inside, and essentially the flexible hose is used so that it doesn't cause any damage to the ducting. The inverter used is a FRENIC Mini 2. C2, and we're using the MONITOUCH Technoshot screen on there. It's fair to point out that the particular customer wanted to differentiate themselves from the competition, and bearing in mind that this particular machine is a global machine, so it's shipped around the world. So they introduced a HMI to the machine and removed all the standard push buttons, etc., from it. The drive used is as I said, the FRENIC C2. The reason they used it is because of the quick response torque limiting time to protect the wire inside the hose, and also to protect the ducting. There are talks of future possible upgrade of the screen because, as I mentioned, it's a global product, and with the V9, you're able to gain access, remote access to the screen. Okay, so Spain again. This is in the recycling industry. This is a garbage recycling shredder. Basically, this shredder has two motors of 132 kilowatt, and this is using a mega. The ACE is basically on the conveyor, and the key points here is that we needed to have it needed high overload of 200%, and with the mega we can achieve that for 3 seconds. Also closed loop control because we need to keep the speed at a constant speed, and droop control so that we can actually load share. Spain again. This is a stone processing machine, but basically this stone processing machine is an end user. They have some remote machines in the quarry, but essentially they wanted to upgrade the plant, and they've used the FRENIC Ace and the MONITOUCH V9. Now, one of the reasons that I mean, they went out to tender, and through negotiations and discussions, this was done with one of our partners in conjunction with Fuji. And what was important to the customer was the after sales support and maintenance. So we were chosen with the partner based upon the sales and support for this plant. Also, it's with our product, or with the inverters, we have a 10-year life cycle. In the plant, we use 256 FRENIC inverters up to 132 kilowatts, and there are 60 V9 HMIs there too. Because of the success that we have in the quarry industry, we're still in Spain. This is a diamond wire saw machine, and this particular customer actually approached us during the lockdown of this year in March, and we gave them support over the phone, and we got them up and running on the HMI. They're now using our HMIs, and we are currently working with them to start using the ACE inverters. Okay, so moving to Germany, this is a high pressure pump for CNC machine tools. So this is pumping the coolant on the CNC machine. The inverters used a 5.5 kilowatt and 7.5 kilowatt. The reason for using it was the fast precise built-in PID function control that we have in the ACE, which basically enabled the fluid or the coolant to be constant, whether or not there was blockages or changes of machine tool heads. The other thing as well is that with the ACE, we've got a mini PLC built into it. It's called customized logic. And this basically enabled the customer or the manufacturer of the machine to send signals to the drive just to increase the performance and the safety of the machine. So moving to Switzerland, this is a milling machine. This is actually milling small screws that go into watches in Switzerland. And it's a 3-axis control. It's using one inverter for the main spindle, the other inverter for straightening system, and then one inverter for the charger advancement. The drive used on this again is the ACE, but we actually have sitting on EtherCAT network. So it's one of our cars that plugs into the drive. The key point here was when they went to different manufacturers' inverters, it was imperative that it was reliable and could handle 24/7 operation. Moving to Turkey, and this one is a high tonnage eccentric press. The drives used here is a 37 to 90 kilowatt drive. Um, the key points for using this inverter, well, because of the shock loading when using a press, we've got something called anti-regen, and essentially what that does is it stops us from overvolting on the drive, and obviously tripping the inverter. Um, we've got safe torque off on the drive as well, so that was considered for this particular application, and of course reliability, functionality, and performance. Still in Turkey, we've got plastic injection molding machine. This is using ACE again, from 7.5 kilowatt to 75 kilowatt. Key points, well, essentially what this customer wanted to do was wanted to put the drive onto the hydraulic pump. So this was achieved because obviously if you have a hydraulic pump running at full speed all the time with relief valves, you're just wasting energy. So we were able to put this drive on there and run with no problems at all. So one for all you wine lovers out there, this is well, it's a wine or cognac volumetric pump, and if you have a look inside that panel there, you'll see that there isn't actually a PLC, because the customer has used all the customizable or the mini PLC logic from the drive, but also on the HMI that they've used, you've got the ability to have some macro capabilities for programming. So what they wanted to do as well was, the reason for using this portable pump was because they wanted to update the panels that were on the factory floor, but didn't want to have basically panels next to each vat to do all the pumping. So this portable one was ideal. Plus, you've got to be careful when transporting the liquid, because if it's at the wrong speed, it can heat up and damage the wine or the cognac. So moving to the UK, this is an omelette making machine on an industrial scale. This particular company manufacture conveyor ovens and grills, and they used on this particular production line the FRENIC Ace. They've used the 7-inch widescreen Technoshop, and they've also used a single-axis Fuji servo controller and motors. And the complete solution, when we were working, obviously to put this together as a package, the reason we were selected was the reliability, the support that we gave, and also the cost. They've also used some of the logic from the drive, so the mini PLC, to reduce some of the loading off the PLC. So there's a short video. So as you can see here, this is the fans and for the ovens using FRENIC Mini, sorry, Ace, and then there's the servo controller, which is flipping the omelettes over, and then another oven process here with some more drives, and then the HMI, and the whole network actually was running on Modbus only. Okay, so moving to Italy, bread making machines. This is a company called Minipan, and Minipan manufacture industrial scale machines, but also they manufacture modular machines as well for for the dough, for the molding, etc. before everything goes into the oven. And the inverters used, as you can see, the FRENIC Ace on an EtherCAT network, and also Modbus communication. Each machine, or each modular machine, is 2, 4, or 6 inverters, or the industrial lines use 24 to 60 inverters. And simply, why did they use FRENIC inverters? Well, it was because of the reliable product, the superior technical performance, and also the technical support that was given to them pre and post sales. Back to the UK, and this is a vision inspection machine using a camera, and it's a visionary print error detection system, and it's used in the pharmaceutical and also the food and beverage. Now they use or they're using the TS1070 screen, and the customer commented when uh, basically they had several different manufacturers, and the thing that stood out for them was the brightness of the screen, and also the speed between each pages. um, Also, what they did like was the fact that they could not stick with one PLC manufacturer, because we have so many drivers built into the HMI, up to 400, so you could use it on any system. The other comment that was made was the ease of the software programming tool to program the HMI as well. So over to Croatia, and this is a candy production plant, and this is using, well, this is up on 16 conveyors with a HMI. They used the Mini C2 inverter on this one, and a Technoshot 7-inch, and basically what they wanted to do was have global control and be able to switch on different conveying systems on the plant at any one time. But also they used the HMI to do all the data login. They wanted to monitor the power, the performance of each conveyor, and also they wanted to determine any failure by using predictive maintenance. This one's interesting. This is a restaurant in Croatia that is using the FRENIC case and also a HMI, and what it's doing is it's actually rotating the restaurant whilst you're eating. So obviously you get a 360-degree view of the city that this is located in. And the reason for doing this was because prior to using inverters, they had failures and on the motors, and essentially what they wanted to do was be able to control the motors more effectively, but really to analyze and get a lot of information fed back as to how it's performing. Croatia, this is a carton production plant. This is controlling cartons as they come down, or pallets. It's weighing the pallets. It's looking for gaps so that it can actually fill that gap with another pallet. And what they did was they're using the FRENIC case on this, but they're using the mini PLC again, because what they wanted to do was they didn't want to use another additional PLC in the system. So they've done all the logic in the drive itself, and achieved it quite effectively. Okay, Israel. This is a printing machine, and the task here was to run the motors, because these are permanent magnet motors, from 0 to 15,000 RPM in 3 seconds. We used the FRENIC case, and we achieved this goal in open loop. So yeah, um, they used the can open, which is built into the drive. And if you have a look at the picture of the inverter there, you can see a black square underneath the display. And that, if you remove that, then you will see an RJ45 connector. Again, they use the mini PLC functionality within the drive to obviously take the loading from the PLC. And some of the other criteria was long-lasting quality of the product, and also again, the superb support that was given to the customer. This one here is a roll-to-roll paper. This particular one is controlling 2-axis. So it's actually lifting the roll onto the machine, and also either unwinding or winding. And the criteria here was high overload, which on the ACE you can achieve 200% for half a second. And again, it was best performance in open loop. Going over to Italy, this is the Textile Machine. This is using three-phase inverters, 1.5 to 2.2 kilowatt. The challenge was to control a permanent magnet synchronous motor in open loop, which we can do on the ACE, and it needed a function to stop the machine. Basically, it's a ride-through function that you can do on the drive, so that if for any reason there's power loss, what you can do is use the regen of the motor to actually bring it down to a safe and controlled stop. As I mentioned, it's in open loop, which means that the drive wouldn't know where it is on or the position of the motor. So what we do is we send a static pole tuning signal to the motor itself to know where it is, and then we're away. And again, this one's actually on can open. Okay, so products. I'm just going to take you through the products as you've seen. You know, with the FRENIC Mini, Ace, and Mega, you know, you've got high performance functionality, as I've gone through. The fact that they're multi-purpose, yes, we can actually put those onto many different types of applications that you've seen. EMC filter is built in. They are easy to use because you've got all the fundamental functions to get you up and running at the beginning of the with the F parameters, and then you know, if you're using a FRENIC Mini, you'll get a similar flavor in terms of the programming on the Mega all the way up. Energy savings can be achieved using our inverters. Different network capabilities available, so we've not only got as I mentioned EtherCAT, but we've got Ethernet IP, Modbus, etc., and coupled with a 3-year warranty. The FRENIC Mini, just to give you a couple of highlights. With a FRENIC Mini open loop, you can control an open loop synchronous motor. You've got high overload at 200% for half a second, which is fantastic for, you know, an entry level drive. Dynamic torque vector control system built into it. You've got PID functionality, and you've got Modbus RTU as standard. The capacity range is single phase 200 volts from 0.1 of a kilowatt to 2.2 kilowatt, and three phase 400 volt to which is 0.4 of a kilowatt to 15 kilowatts. FRENIC Ace can open, as I mentioned, built in, plus obviously Ethernet expansion cards. You've got customizable logic, 200 steps. We've talked about the mini PLC that's built into it. And we categorize this drive in 4 duties. So we categorize it in medium demand, high demand, and high demand. And basically what you can do is we can select the exact right drive for that particular application. Induction motor, open loop, and also closed loop control, and we can control a permanent magnet synchronous motor open loop. We've got a standard, as I mentioned, the functional safety safe torque off to SIL 3, Cat 3, PLE, and that's the standard on all the ACE products. Single phase, your 0.1 of a kilowatt to 2.2 kilowatts, and then 400 volt 3 phase, your 0.4 of a kilowatt, all the way up to 315 kilowatts. Moving on to the Mega. The Mega, you don't have to have an encoder on it. We can actually have senseless torque control, which is fantastic. High overload for 3 seconds on this one at 200%. Open loop, closed loop induction motor, plus closed loop permanent magnet synchronous motor. You can plug in up to 3 option cards at any one time on the Mega, and also functional safety safe torque off. Capacity range, 400 volts, 3 phase is 0.4 of a kilowatt, all the way up to 630 kilowatts. So products on the HMI side, the V9 series. As I mentioned in the presentation, it is or it has powerful connectivity, more than 400 different communication protocols available. You've got a standard on this remote access VPN connectivity. So there's no need to use a module inside the control panel. With this being built in. Data transfer service, FTP client and server, so for transferring CSV files, etc. Um, I don't know many companies out there or manufacturers of HMIs that have the video player and the PDF viewer built into it, but it's a fantastic option because obviously you can install the manuals of the machine so the user can look it up, or you could play video footage to show how to change machine tools or anything like that. Whilst we've got the resistive touchscreen, we also offer a capacitive touchscreen variant, and also wireless connection as an option. Integrated gateway function. So if we've got two different manufacturers of PLC communicating, well, we can use this to obviously do the data transfer between the two PLCs. And then we've also got specific functions for the FRENIC drives because we've got something called component parts within the software. So essentially you just drag and drop the type of drive that you're using, the FRENIC drive, onto the screen, and it takes care of all the arduous programming that's involved behind the scenes. Moving on to the Technoshot, again, it's a powerful device with 400 different communication protocols. As I mentioned in the presentation, fast touch response and high brightness achieved from this display. So it's perfect for outdoor systems, which is on that jet washing machine. It is very competitively priced. Again, integrated gateway function. Then we've got specific functions again for the drives. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to the presentation. You can contact us on info.inverter@fujielectric-europe.com. Please also visit us on LinkedIn, and also have a look at our YouTube channel. But now we're moving over to your questions, and Jean-Manel,